Hello YouTube, my name is Fantasize, and welcome once again to the channel dedicated to training pilots old and new in the art of Vendetta Online. Today in this video, I will be teaching you how to swarm stack missiles to destroy shielded targets in-game, as well as showing you the true importance and value of learning this skill. Now, if this is content you wish to see more of, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And with the introduction aside, let's jump right into the video. Now, swarm stacking, I believe, and you will soon learn, is actually an amazing skill in game that you must learn, okay? So, for example here, I have my own personal Goliath right here that I'm going to use as a little bit of a test dummy to show you guys how this works. So, if you're new to the game and you don't know, capital ships and some hive vessels actually have shields to them. And shields, if I shoot a little bit at them, show up like this. There's a little bit of a blue outline to the ship, and if you look in the top right, actually, right above my green health bar, you'll see another blue bar that'll show the percentage of my shields. So there's no current way in the game to de-shield anything with shields with energy weapons such as the ones that I'm using. Believe it or not, actually, the Ragnarok, which is the ship that I'm using currently, personally, I believe has the highest DPS in the game in terms of the amount of weapon slots that it has. And even using the best I have to my ability, I can't de-shield this thing because I run out of energy. Alright, so a way to de-shield it, if I grab a different one, is to use the tactic that I mentioned in the introduction called swarm stacking. So if I come over here and I grab, let's see, hold on. If I come over here and I grab a better weapon for it, such as this Ragnarok, which is completely and entirely equipped with glorious missiles, I will have a much easier time de-shielding this, but it's going to be a little differently than you may think, okay? The average player may believe that if you just fly up to it and you just start firing missiles at it, you'll completely de-shield it. But unfortunately, you also run into the same problem with energy as to it won't work because the shield will just regen all the damage back. So, this is how we, the players, have found a way to combat this, okay? What you do is swarm stack. So let me show you how this works. What I like to do is get around 1500 meters away from my target, because at that distance it'll be close enough that you'll be able to unload all of your entire load of energy. I just picked up the wrong ship. Give me one moment. Okay. So now that I have a ship that can use missiles, let me show you how swarm stacking works. So how swarm stacking works is generally with shielded targets such as that Goliath right there, dealing any amount of damage to the shield, it'll automatically regenerate within a few seconds. So the way the player base has found a way to combat this is if you apply a massive amount of damage at once, and the shields won't have the time to react and start regenerating that damage. And that's what swarm stacking is. So if I do it here on a stationary target, all I want to do is get to about 1500 meters or so, because that way it's far enough that you will be able to unload your entire bucket of missiles, but it'll also be close enough that if your target tries to move and or run away, you'll have the lifespan of the missiles and be able to hit it, really. So let me show you how it works. In order to swarm stack, generally it's used with a Ragnarok. I prefer the Mark III because in combat situations it has the most armor, which increases survivability. And check this out. So in order to swarm stack, you want to increase your speed until you're going around the same speed as these missiles, which seems to be around 80 to 90 meters per second. and then you want to start unloading it. So that what that'll do is that'll stack your swarms on top of each other, so that way whenever they hit a target, they will all hit at generally the same time and de-shield it. See? Just like that. And it even dealt enough damage to completely run out of shield and deal hull damage as well. So that's essentially how it works. What I like to do for practice before you start moving on to a target that actually, moves and can dodge, is to here we go. Let me get back out again. Come on, do it. There. So now that I have a way I like to practice, the way I like to practice how to swarm is I find an asteroid. I want to find one that isn't really far. Here we go. This one's perfect. Not that far away. I want to line up with it, and I want to increase my speed up to around 70 to 90 meters per second. And I do the same process again. I just unload everything I can, flying directly at it. It's okay if there's a little bit of wiggle room. It's all that really matters is the speed you're going at. You want to be in the general direction. The swarms will correct for themselves. And then once you do that, as you can see, it all stacks on top of each other like that, dealing a whole lot of damage. Alright. So if you do that a few times, and you start to get acquainted with going at the right speed, and facing the same general direction, you'll get the hang of it pretty quick, because personally, I don't even believe it's all that hard. Now, the real difficulty is whenever you run into an opponent that likes to move around a little bit, which is exactly what I'm going to jump to in a mere moment. Okay, and we are back. Definitely for the first time. Now, whenever it comes to shooting a moving target, there's a few things you want to take note of and pay attention to. The first thing you want to take note of is the direction that the target is flying. If they're flying away from you, it's going to be near impossible to hit them because swarms actually aren't that fast, only moving to about 85 meters per second. So they're pretty easy to outrun, especially for a queen like this. Queens are also pretty easy to target with swarms because she won't actually shoot me. So because she only shoots actually capital class vessels or whatever. So that's something to also take note of. So the direction that she's flying in right now is actually the perfect direction for me, because my swarms would hit her like dead on in the face and deal just the maximum amount of damage, which technically means I wouldn't need as many swarms in order to hit her. But you want to work it out with timing, because as you can tell, she kind of just turns in whatever direction she feels like at the moment, which I think is really annoying. But we'll learn to get around it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay around 1500 meters from her, because that's the distance that I like to fire my swarms. And I'm going to wait until she picks a different direction that's a little bit more comfortable for me to be able to hit these swarms off. Come on, queen, please do something different. There we go. That's perfect. Oh, that's so perfect. So I'm going to start firing off my swarms, trying to stay aligned with it, picking up speed as I go. That's the goal. It gets really kind of complicated depending on which direction you go, but this is going pretty good. There we go. And they all hit. Boom, de-shielding her just like that. Look at that. Wow. This is a new record. I definitely didn't have to do this multiple times in a row. But thank you, Queen, for picking such a perfect way to just go. Good job. But that's how it works in principle. So you just want to be aware that the moment they start changing directions, that's when you want to launch your swarms. So that way you'll have the most time before they decide to stop and turn around and start running, like they seem to do quite often. And that's how you hit a moving target with swarms. This same tactic actually works with all capital vessels in the game. So if you're trying to hit a trident, if you're trying to hit a Goliath, if you're trying to hit a queen or a Leviathan, it all works the same. Granted, Leviathans don't actually move, so it's a little bit easier, but queening I think is a great way to practice swarming targets, because it's actually, personally, I believe, the hardest target to swarm, aside from maybe like a player capital ship where they're actively trying to dodge and outrun them. But that's all how it works. I just wanted this to be a really simple and short video. So if this helped you and you liked it, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I put down in the description, if you want to support this game even further, I would recommend going down into the description and joining the Vendetta Online Discord, because that's the easiest way for you to reach many players that are far more knowledgeable than I am, and as well see more content of the other creators for this game. If for whatever reason you don't play the game and you're just watching the video, then I would recommend downloading the game, which is also going to be in the description down below, and that'll be a great way to support the developers and get more exposure to this little gem of the game. That is all I have to say. My name is Fantasize, and if this video helped, thank you very much, and signing off.